Hey everybody, welcome back. James here again with you. And this has been probably the most requested video since I introduced the DIY side shot scope cam mount. Now I highly recommend checking out the prototype video that I made a while ago, probably a couple months ago. I'll put the links in the description below of all the videos that I'm referencing. But the requested was that I show how I built it, and the first prototype, like I said, probably a little more complex, a little more complicated than everybody wanted to put their time in to do this scope cam. And this one, I'm following up here on the scope cam PVC build video also, which I said I'll post the links in the video below in the description, that I highly recommend you guys watch. So let me show you what I did here. So I have the PVC base and the fasteners and the wing nuts there to hold the phone in, and I have zip ties holding this on the connector. And on this connector I have a hole drilled out behind the phone on this base, as shown in the other video, about a 1/2 inch hole or so, enough for the camera to get clearance between the connector and the base. So I drilled 2 extra holes on the back base here for the zip ties to clear and go around the PVC connector. And on the inside of this I have 1 inch piece of PVC, not very long, just enough to make the connector sturdy. And on the inside, people was wondering how I reflected the image, and what that is 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 square glass pane. You can pretty much get all this stuff at your local hardware store. And past that I have a little 1 inch piece of PVC just to hold that glass pane in, and you can still see the scope on the inside there. That's how you'd look in, you know, with your phone recording on the side. So I wanted to make this build a lot easier for everybody to build and make it one piece. So you slide it on your scope and you slide it off. And so what happens is, when you zoom in your picture, you can start filming and shooting and still look through your scope and get a good image of your target. Now, the only downfall to this is that it reflects the image to the opposite side. So if you're shooting a target, as you've seen in my original prototype, it pushes the image to the opposite side when you're recording. So if your target's you know, on the left side, it'll actually be on the right side, and if it's on the right side, it'll actually be on the left side of this camera. So that's the only downfall, but the good thing is you can still look through your scope without having to hold your gun down, you know, in front of you like this and try to do upward shots or downward shots and look behind the gun and the scope. But your eye will still be on the scope here with this style of mount. Okay, so just to recap here, like I said, I recommend highly to go check out the previous videos that I've done to make this base. And using the hardware that I mentioned in that video, drill all the holes out for the fasteners to hold on the phone. Drill a 1/2 inch hole in the back plate here, a 1/2 inch hole in the connector, and drill your 4 holes for your zip ties to hold it on as one piece, and your 1 inch PVC to make the PVC connector or rubber connector more sturdy. And on the inside here I have a 1/4 inch and 1 1/4 inch square pane of glass at an offset angle about 45 degrees to accommodate the image reflected. And on past that I have a small sliver of PVC 1 inch pipe about that thick to brace the glass pane from moving on the inside there. And it all comes off as one. And you don't want to get this second zip tie too tight, because then you can't slide your scope inside. Just like that, and this is how it works. So you should be able to reflect the image even without the scope on, once you get everything lined up. And that's the only thing that's about this mount, is you have to line up everything and get it to fit. Then you put your scope on. It's friction fit. To get the best image, like I said, you got to realign everything. Just mess with it and you'll get it. But that's pretty much the gist of this build, and like I said, it reflects the image to the opposite side. And scope mount works great so far. I haven't actually shot with this mount yet, but the prototype worked great. But the only problem was, like I said, I wanted to make it all one piece and easy for everybody to build. So appreciate you guys watching as always. Thanks again. I hope you understand this build a little bit better. Like I said, highly recommend checking out those other videos. Appreciate you watching as always, and you can still see through your scope. Thanks again, guys.